welcome to another edition of Action 14. I'm Mike Briggs. We're bringing you information from the city, from the schools, and from the arts. I have with me now Mayor Pullman. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mike. It's always a pleasure to be here on TV 14 and discuss things with our TV 14 viewer audience.
And we do have quite an audience that is going to get a little worried when I talk about the fact that they're going to be getting a letter in the mail in about a week or so, and it's going to be from reevaluation of city properties.
I was kind of concerned you might ask about that today. So I hope I've done my homework. The Appleton firm that we hired to do our revaluation, associated appraisals, will be sending out, you're right, that letter, and your sources are always good, so I have to watch what I say here, but they'll send a letter out end of the week, and then that will tell homeowners, businesses, commercial, that what the estimated fair market value assessment of their property is. And that's dictated by state law when the valuation based on selling prices of similar homes in the community falls below the 90% estimated fair market value, which when we all get our tax bill, Merry Christmas, the day before Christmas, here's what your house is worth. And so we're hoping to bring it more in line with what the market is. Now,
so what that means is we're going to have people get a letter in the mail, and they're going to see the possibility of a 20 or 30% increase on the value of their home.
And they're going to say, but I didn't do anything to my home. I understand that. And I asked the same question because I didn't do anything.
Right.
But it's an across the market. It's been 8 years, 9 years since we've done this. It's required by state law. And realistically, if everybody has a assessed increase, and you're right, between 20 and 30%, everybody's taxes should stay approximately the same because the value's going up, not the property tax, because it's still, the levy is set by the four taxing authorities, which is the city of Plymouth, Plymouth School System, Sheboygan County, and then the smallest portion is Lakeshore Technical College. So they set their limit, they put it into the formula, and I can tell you right now that we're probably gonna stay where we are because as mayor, I've requested that our department heads keep it between a 1% and 2% increase. That's also by state law that we're restricted to what they call net increase in value. So the adjustment, if everybody moves up the same 24% in estimated fair market value, that means that your taxes will stay pretty close to where they are currently. Okay. It just raises the price, which realistically is, the market is between 18 and 30% more than what homes are listed for, and it's a premium. Now, that of course can change based on market conditions. Right. And 10 years ago, things were different than they are today, and they'll be different in 5 or 10 years from now. But the estimated fair market value is based on current sales of similar properties within the community.
At the same time, we could say the next evaluation, they could see a drop in their value because I believe we are going to see things settle.
I do believe, unfortunately, right now everything is high. and the reval is hitting us when it's high. That also indicates if everything pans out, even though there could be a drop, and you're right, in a year or two and things level off, that doesn't mean that they'll decrease your taxes
Right.
because the same proportionate assessment will be spread out amongst the property owners, both residential and commercial, in a pro rata basis. So it's a sign of the times. It's normally a very good thing, but it's very confusing. And people, you don't have to just take it just because I'm telling you about this, because I don't want to take it either. But we do have the letters go out, and then on, I think it's sometime October 6th, I think,
Okay.
is when the, we call it open book, and people can come to City Hall, look at their address, the assessor will be there and answer questions. I show up and disappear and show up again.
Yeah.
And you know, let's say you and I live next to each other, and my assessment went up $30,000. Well, okay, our houses were built the same time by the same contractor. Neither one of us had done a thing for 40 years. So, okay, I want to see what Mike's house is assessed for. So
Yep.
as long as you got the address, I can check out any house in the city. So I look at your house, and sure enough, they're assessed for exactly the same thing. Well, that makes sense because they were built at the same time by the same contractor, and neither one of us remodeled to any significant value. So people can come in, ask those questions, compare similar residences that they see in other parts of the city, because where you live in the city doesn't change the assessed value. So it's basically the measurement of the house, the age of the house, and then I don't want to oversimplify it. Appraisers do what they do, and I don't understand what they do and how they do it, but it's across the board. So you can look at similar residents or friends or relatives and see what their house is, and get that same comparison yourself. Now, if you don't, on the 6th, like that number, you can request information on how to challenge that number. And then toward the end of October, we have a public hearing, and any assessments that people don't feel are adequate to their liking, they can come in, and there's a process to do that. So this isn't the final answer, it's a process to go there, but all of the taxing authorities basically have no increase in their levy limit, and it's spreading the same taxes over the same homeowners. Hopefully we have new homeowners, because the more homeowners you have, the more it helps spread that levy across the board. We haven't had a substantial increase in residences in the city, so I don't anticipate a whole much change in that calculation.
Right.
There's been a couple, but you need a big number to really make that effective.
Yeah, in fact, I think you would agree, Mayor, that we do need more housing.
Oh, and that is absolutely the answer to mixing the formula up and lowering things, is to have a bigger base. And we need housing for more workers, because there's help wanted signs everywhere. We are working on that. The city owns 67 acres down on E and 67 on that curve. We're looking at developing that and the city doesn't develop it itself. We own the land in order to make it available, and then we contract with builders to do that. And then we also have another 120 acres that we're exercising an option on this fall, which is across the street, across Highway 67, and that will be annexed to the city when that transaction takes place. The 67 acres is already annexed into the city, and it doesn't have roads and sewer and water and all that because it hasn't been laid out yet. But we need new housing. A lot of our subdivisions, whether it's on the east side or the west side, are half full and filling up, and not everyone wants to be on one side or the other of the city. So it's a matter of having availability and then building, having the builders to do it. We have a lot of opportunity in front of us to fill the needs of our businesses in the community, and you can see the billboard signs every day advertising for, help wanted.
Right, right. It's going to be an interesting fall when the people receive those and determine that. I think some people might be happy too, though, that they have increase in value, and
That
as long as they
house-
understand from you that you do not expect their taxes to go up because of this evaluation.
Exactly, because you're doing it across the board, and everybody is treated in the formula the same. So unless you've done some really substantial remodeling, I don't expect the net tax number to change.
Okay.
So it's a process that we're required to do, but the assessment itself does not change the levy. The units of government change the levy.
I have to say that you were hoping to have a new police chief by the fair.
We
missed that.
I was hoping to introduce him at one of these TV14 outings.
And you had it narrowed down, but
It didn't work out.
it did not work out. Let's
Yeah.
leave it at that. I should tell you, the fair went fine.
It did.
And,
I know
we
I
had
ate myself
Record
crazy.
attendances.
Yes. And we were able to cover everything. We didn't have any incidences that caused any problems. But of course, that putting a lot of people on the force into work.
Yep.
And that takes a lot of effort and overtime. But it's important to say that the fair covers that overtime. And so that's not a burden on the city itself, because people coming to the fair are from all over.
Yes.
And the fair pays those additional costs. And that's always been that way. It's a great arrangement that we have, and we couldn't ask for a better fair partner. And the police chief, hopefully, they've decided and the council has approved to have the same recruitment firm that we used for our new city administrator,
Right.
utility manager. They have quite a pool of resources to pull from. Matter of fact, one of the lead recruiters himself is on the Mequon Police and Fire Commission. So he has experience in that particular committee. He made the comment in one discussion that they've got a couple dozen in the drawer to go through and scan out, and they make phone calls
Okay.
and advertise. So we're looking realistically, if we can have that person on board by the end of the year,
Yeah.
would be nice, only because you want them to give 30 or 60-day notice where they are. Then if there's a move requirement, if they're out of state, that's another 30 days. So all of a sudden, your October, November, December is gone. So if we can have that person on board, we'll be happy. In the meantime, our assistant chief is doing a fine job, and the process continues no matter who's in that chair. But we do want to get back up to speed as quick as possible.
Right, right. Well, let's just finish up by talking budget here. You've already told us that you hold everybody to 1 to 2% increase, but it must be so challenging with the cost of fuel being so high, all the different items that the city has to deal with. It's going to be very difficult.
It's going to be very difficult. I've insisted for the last 16 years that we put $100,000 a year into the rainy day fund. And this might be one of the years that we have to take money out of the rainy day fund. Our fuel costs are up 15%.
Yep.
Our supplies are up 6 to 8%. Our repairs, that if we have to repair equipment or replace some part of, an end loader bucket or something like that, those are all up 20%. So across the board, we're experiencing significant cost factors that we don't want to reduce any services that the community currently receives. So we want to maintain those services and still have a healthy financial budget to work with.
Right.
So I have to already admit that I'm not going to have 100 to put into the rainy day fund, and realistically, we'll probably take 100 out of the rainy day fund, simply because the costs across the board are piling up even as we go through our preliminary discussions, and I can see that running us in the 150 to 200 range.
It's going to be a
It's going to be a tough year.
Yeah, it's gonna, for everyone.
Yeah.
Whether it's the school system, whether it's the city, and other cities are going through the same thing.
Oh, nobody's exempt from this because inflation hits us across the board, and the city, just like the school, we're subject to those inflationary pressures.
Have you got everything ready for winter?
As I think the answer is we're getting there.
Okay.
We haven't really tuned anything up yet because we're still trying to get through September. October is really the month where they start banging on things and, turning them and seeing if they're working and greased up. Because before you know it, November 1st is here, and we know what that does to things. But fortunately, with our new facility, we have a lot more equipment indoors, and that has saved us thousands of dollars. So we're very happy to have that happen, and that's another one of those projects that we have to look at as availability permits itself.
Right. Now, as we leave all of this, I want to wish you the best of luck to get the budget finished up, because you will have that budget done by
Well,
very shortly.
we like to do it the first council meeting in November as a drop dead date, and that's where we ended up last year. So we're hoping that it falls in line, and our new administrator has already had several meetings with staff, and in discussions, I think we're headed on that timeline, and we'll be okay. It takes an awful big funnel to pour everything in and then come out with that budget. And then, of course, when we sit down and review it at the staff meeting, and you get out the calculator, and some departments are going to go up 8% and some are going to go down 5%. Does it balance out? We have no idea at this point.
Yeah.
But I'm hopeful.
Okay.
We have a good staff. We have people that are very conscientious, And it's a priority game. That's the problem.
I want to tell you that next month when you sit here, you're going to be telling me about how Highway 23
Oh,
is done and they're streaming in.
I already had a television taping for that just
Yep.
within the last couple of days, and there is excitement over 23, let me tell you.
Yep, yep.
So it's going to be good. Yeah.
And I should mention that the City Hall is where they have their council meetings, and they are the second and last Tuesday of every month down at City Hall.
7 o'clock.
At 7 p.m. Be part of what's happening in the city. Be part of what we are discussing here so that you have the knowledge of what's going on in Plymouth, Wisconsin. Thank
Sounds
you
good.
again.
You're welcome, always glad.
When we come back, I'm hoping to have Donna Hahn here to talk about many, many different things happening at the Plymouth Arts Center. So stay right with us. You're watching Action 14. Welcome back to Action 14. As promised, I have Donna Hahn here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mike.
Hard to believe how many years we've been playing with the Arts Center, isn't it? It's been a great time.
It has been fun, lots
Yes.
of fun.
Let's first talk about something that's coming up very, very quickly, and that's Fallujah. It's a first time ever in the
Yes.
city of Plymouth. We're going to be closing down some streets in downtown. We're going to have bands playing at a couple different locations.
Yes.
And the Arts Center is involved.
We are. It's an event that is being planned and coordinated by the Plymouth Advancement Association. And our part is we're offering our front plaza area to the Plymouth Lions Club, and they are going to be conducting a brat fry out there. And then we will have our little bar set up, and so you can buy a beer or a glass of wine.
And it's happening September 29th through October 1st.
Right.
There'll be bands playing on both ends of Mill Street a bit.
They're on Mill Street.
They may not have set exactly where they're going to be putting
Right,
them up.
and there will be quite a few vendors up and down the street as well, so you can, it's like a mini Mill Street festival.
Okay.
That's what I'm calling it anyway.
Well, I'm
And,
just glad they're trying something new.
Yes, and it's a fundraiser for mental health.
That's right.
So,
And that's
so we're
right.
really, happy to be part of the event.
So plan your weekend for the 29th, 30th, and the 1st of October to be actually it's part of homecoming.
Yes,
The homecoming parade is on Friday.
yeah,
And they'll be closing the street down for that also.
Right.
And then all of this happens starting that evening and all through the weekend.
right, and it's a country music event, so
yeah.
it'll be exciting.
And I'm hoping we get some people from outside the area that come in and
Oh, I think so,
see how marvelous Plymouth is, eh?
absolutely.
And the Arts Center will also be open.
We'll be open during the event on Saturday, during the day, so you
Good.
can come in and see the show and relax if you
Yep.
like, and, truck down the street and enjoy some
There
more
you go.
music and food.
We've got some things happening that I want to talk about with the fall colors, because we paint the town in fall colors is coming right up.
Yes,
I think I'm trying to look here. Friday, October 14th, from 6 to 9 will be the reception.
that's the reception. Artists can register with us right now. We're taking applications for the first 40 or so artists are gonna get in for sure, 45 I think it is. And there's a discount if they register early.
So be part of what's happening down. It was so much fun to drive around Plymouth before that 14th, and you'll be seeing people on the streets
Right.
in different areas of the city, but also outside the area.
Right, in the rural areas
yeah.
too, and in Greenbush. We're gonna take in Greenbush. Every year, Dan Rizzi chooses another community, and, this year he's chosen Greenbush.
Yeah.
So, there's beautiful scenery all
There
over
is.
in Sheboygan County, but this year it's Greenbush and Plymouth.
And the neat part is that the paintings will be hosted at the Arts Center. Yes, Friday, October 14th from 6 to 9, you can come down and see them. However, they're for sale
They are for sale
ahead of that even.
at a silent auction. So we'll have a cash bar that evening, and you'll be able to come in from 6 to 9, and we have live music going on during that period of time. And you can place your bid, and hopefully you'll get the piece that you love, and you'll be able to take it home with you, pay for it and take it home.
Take it home that evening.
Yes.
When it's all
Right.
done at 9 o'clock, you can
Right.
take it home.
And then after that Friday evening event, the paintings will be on the wall in our gallery, in our main gallery, through November 18th.
Right.
So if you want to come in, you'll have to pay the buy it now price, but you still can buy a piece.
Yes, and the neat part is to have something hanging in your house that you look at and you know exactly.
Oh, sure.
When you look at it, oh yes, that was right outside Greenbush or
I have
something.
them all over my house.
And so be part of that. It's circle it on your calendar, Friday, October 14th. But maybe before that, if you have a paintbrush in your hand, talk to the people down at the Arts Center right now.
Yes.
Right now, and
absolutely.
be part of this. And
Right.
it's very popular.
Right.
And this is not the first year you've done it either. This has been
This
going
is
on for a
about
while.
the 9th year now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been going on for quite a while, and we really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's always fun to see people out painting and walk past, see how they're doing kind
Right.
of thing. And everybody's so friendly on the street when they're doing this.
And take pictures,
Yes.
it's fun to take pictures of the artists as they're working on,
Mm-hmm.
the different buildings and landscapes.
Yeah, so let's go from art, painting, to a different art, and that's singing and performing.
Yes.
Because this is a new item coming in that I just am so excited to see how it's going to happen, because you've got a Veterans Tribute Concert coming up.
Yes.
The date of it is Saturday, November 12th and 19th, also a Sunday matinees. Those are the evening ones, I'm sorry.
Well, it's actually November 5th and 6th, which is a Saturday and a Sunday, so Saturday evening and Sunday matinee.
Yep,
And then the following weekend on the 12th and 13th, which is a Sunday matinee.
okay.
So there are 4 shows to choose from, and we have a cast of nearly 30 local performers, either musicians or singers, storytellers. And Julie Overby is the coordinator
Yeah.
of this event.
She
And
has done a marvelous job setting this up.
She has. And so we're really excited. The tickets are going to be $20, and you're going to get free dessert with that. And it's an opportunity for you to sit back and thank the veterans for their service.
Now, not only will the music have some touch with veterans, okay, but this is an opportunity for you to buy a ticket
Right.
thanking veterans, meaning you can go down to the Arts Center right now and buy a few tickets, buy a couple, 3, 5 tickets, let's say,
Right.
and say, these are for veterans.
Right.
So veterans can actually get in free.
Yes, and veterans can register with us right now
Yep.
and tell us that they would like one of these free tickets. So it's, a two-way street there. So patrons can come in, businesses, individuals can buy a ticket for a veteran, and a veteran can register with us. So two different things going on
I
here.
think it's such a neat idea that now, did Julie think this up?
She did.
It's unbelievable that not only is the music and storytellers, et cetera, she's got 30 of them lined up, and so there will be music that you will recognize from the era that happened
Our
during that time.
245-year history, music from,
Yes.
old music, new music, everything in between. And I have a list here of, some of the performers. It's amazing, and Freddie Nordyke will be there. Dan Ognovic, Rachel Stoike, Matt Overby, Mary Fellens, Keith Obler.
Yes, Keith will be there.
Pat Cadman, Christopher Guy, Max and Savannah Holly, Laura Henze, Zach Holden, Carter Krasaniak, Amy Larson.
Yep.
I just could go on and on and on. But we have a wonderful cast. Not everybody is in both weekends, but the majority are. So, you know, you'll have to decide which weekend you want to come if
Let's
you want
give
to
those
see it
weekends again
specific.
to us, would you please?
Oh, sure. November 5th and 6th and November 12th and 13th. And the tickets for the general public will go on sale October 1st.
And so before October 1st is what I would like to have you do. Before October 1st, stop down at the Arts Center, purchase some tickets for some veterans. I think it's so neat that we would be able to walk to the VFW or the American Legion here
Yes.
in Plymouth at least, and be able to say, who wants to go?
Yes.
Who wants to go?
Absolutely.
And so veterans, I would like you to also stop in at the Arts Center, get your name on a list so that there'll be some tickets available for you.
And we'll have plenty of seating, but you know, you never know, it might sell out, so come down early.
Yeah.
So-
So plan your November to see the show, but at the same time, come down much earlier, buy some tickets for some veterans.
And we're very grateful for your support.
That's right. This is a great idea. Thank you, Julie, for thinking it up and following it up with some really neat things. We also, I want to talk about some things that are happening down there because you have some art now.
Art
Training,
classes,
art classes.
yes.
And the one
yes.
that intrigues me the most might be the idea of mobile photography on the 15th of October. The idea of being able to bring my iPhone in
Right.
on the 15th of October down at the Arts Center and have some training on how to use it effectively to take pictures.
If you're like me, you know, you use the basic settings and you never really open up that settings link and try to find, you know, how to really use it in the proper way. So Dale Van Minzel is going to come and he's going to show us how to do that. So
That is October 15th, 1 to 3 p.m. Sign up now so that you'll be sure to be part of it.
that's a very busy weekend because we have several events going on, you know, like back to back. So
Yes.
it's going to be fun. But you know, if you can fit this in your schedule, I
Yeah.
highly recommend it.
Now, you have some things that adult felting?
Yes.
Explain that to
Well,
me.
Mary Starnicki, I'm sorry, I'm really froggy today. The allergy thing.
There you go.
So Mary Starnicki has taught this class before, and she teaches you this old-fashioned art of felting. So
Yep.
you're going to come in there and you're going to learn something that's really old-fashioned and fun. You're going to have a great time, and you're going to make a pumpkin.
Okay.
And so, you know, we're taking reservations right now.
Yep,
So
and-
fill the class.
Well, there's something, that's on the 13th of October. On the 14th of October, woven Indian corn
Yes.
workshop.
Yes, Kathy Plummer is coming, and she's going to teach you how to make a centerpiece. And you can bring either your grandchild or your child or
That's
your
unique.
nephew or niece, and, you know, come in. We're going to do like a 2-for-1 price for that event.
And so you've got something on the 13th, okay, that's felting. You've got the Indian corn workshop on the 14th, and then on the 15th, we're doing photography.
Right.
And you are just going to have a few busy weekends in October, eh?
We do. It's pretty much all in one weekend that we're going to be that busy. Monster painting as well that weekend.
Yeah.
Saturday in the morning, that's for the kids. And Mary Starnicki is our children's teacher, and she is a teacher in Sheboygan.
Right.
She's coming in, and we're going to do, probably a watercolor, acrylic painting of monsters, just in time for trick or treat.
That's right. And so you've got everything in line here to prepare for the holidays of trick-or-treating. And so there's going to be so much happening in the month of October. You're going to be so busy, Donna.
We are. I can hardly stand it.
You've got so many things happening. It's going
Yeah,
to be,
it's hard to keep it all straight in my mind,
Yeah.
but,
because
it's,
you'll be painting
yes.
the town and then having that gathering. And then you've got your veteran concert coming up. That's going to be fantastic. Be part of the Arts Center. It's unbelievable.
Well, we do have 2 more concerts that we didn't really talk about yet.
Yep.
But in November as well, we're going to do our Celtic concert. And we are selling tickets for that already because we're going to be doing 2 dinner shows for that event.
Okay.
The Saturday evening shows are dinner shows. It's an optional dinner, so you can either buy the dinner and come to the dinner and the show, or you can just come to the show that evening.
Okay.
So we would like to know if you'd like to have dinner with us, because we're going to have Mill Home cater it.
Okay.
And we have to put that reservation in ahead of time. So if you'd like to join us for dinner, we'd love to have you.
And you've run these shows many, many years also.
Oh, yes. The Celtic shows have been around since about 2013.
And they're always fun.
They are.
But the idea of adding a meal with it is what I think
It's
is
brand new.
That's new.
Right.
And so they can be part of that.
And then, of course, we have our holiday membership show coming up in December, and we want to register for that if you want to get in that show and be part of the gallery exhibition. Then we need to have that reservation by October 21st.
Oh, goodness, so they have to get that in there. So
Right.
you need to get your name on the list and
Right.
start that up. The best idea, because we've gone through so many things, is to stop down at the Arts Center.
Yes. Get on our mailing list. You know, you don't have to be a member to get on our mailing list, but we strongly would love it
Yes.
if you are a member. But we send out either weekly or, every couple weeks we'll send out a notice, and we'll have all of this stuff in there, and you'll be able to, register right through that newsletter. Or you can always go to our website or our Facebook page and register there as well.
PlymouthArts.org will get you to the website, and you can find out many, many things that are
Yes.
happening at the Arts Center.
And we have a lot of surprises for next year as well, so
Oh, goodness.
don't miss anything,
Oh,
get
goodness.
signed up now.
This is fantastic. This has to be the busiest fall I've seen at the Arts
think
Center. It's
so.
going to be
I
fantastic.
think so.
Goodness. Well, I wish you the best of luck for everything.
Well, thank you. And we have to give a big shout out to all of our sponsors. We can't mention them
That's
here.
right.
We have so many, but we want them to know that how grateful we are, for all their support.
And how grateful the city is to be able to have an art center.
Yes.
That's unbeatable. It's fantastic.
Well, we think so.
Of course. And I agree.
Okay.
All right. But thank you, Donna, for coming in. Mark it on your calendar to be part of what's happening at the Arts Center. Stop down, see what they have. There's always a great show going on that you can look at what's on the walls and also ask some questions about what's coming up in your future.
Right.
So stop down at the Arts Center. Enjoy the arts of Plymouth. Thank you again.
Thank you for having us.
When we come have Dan Mella on the hot seat, and we'll be talking about how school's going and all the great things that are happening in the Plymouth School District. So stay right with us. You're watching Action 14. Well, we gave him a lot. But you do, yes, I would like to take that. But you have so many things going. Welcome back to Action 14. As promised, I've got Superintendent Dan Mella here. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to talk about a little bit about what's happening at the school board meetings, and one of the biggest things that we have to deal with this time of year is budget.
Correct. Everybody does they have to take a budget to an annual meeting every year, and citizens are invited to come in, and people all get a chance to have comment if they choose, and ultimately to vote. It's actually a citizens meeting. So that meeting in October is made up of two parts. First part is the budget meeting, and the citizens get a chance to discuss and to vote on it. And then there's the regular board meeting happens after that one closes up.
And that is October 18th. Third Tuesday in October, October 18th, we'll have the annual meeting followed by the October school board meeting.
Correct. It's a little bit longer night.
Yep.
But we are moving into it, and this will be my third one, and get a chance to address some of the highlights from the previous year. And so we've always got some great highlights to talk about, and the kids and the teachers and the community do great things here all the time. So it's pretty easy picking out things for a nice discussion and a speech about this district and what it has to offer.
Now, you're going to have a balanced budget. However, there's an additional funding that was able to put in.
Correct. We will be presenting, give or take, these are always at this point preliminary numbers, and things change all the time. In fact, some of the DPI worksheets that we have to use to figure out how much from the state and how much from local and all of that aren't even populated yet.
Okay.
Some of them are estimates and they roll and they change based on student counts and things. But we should be pretty close to starting the year with a balanced budget. We did last year as well, but both last year and this year, the reason that we're able to do that is because we're using our ESSER funds. So these are funds from the federal government that have been moved into the states that are specifically for COVID relief in school districts and schools.
Right.
And so that money is distributed to districts based on the total number of students, a little bit about free and reduced price lunch populations,
Right.
those kinds of things. And so that all gets turned into a total number. And that total number is, for us, we're going to use about 900,000 of it next year. And that will have us be able to start the year with a balanced budget
Right.
going into the year. So that is the that is the plan.
Yeah. We also have some legislative update that you're going to be informing about, right?
Correct. Yeah, the superintendents in Sheboygan County on a regular basis meet with our local legislators. Now, Tyler Vorpagel is no longer running, so there's a race for his seat. But we do have Terry Katzma and Devin Lemieux. Devin Lemieux, as most people know, is he is the head of the Senate in the state of Wisconsin. And so he's got maybe an oversized influence, but he's our local person as well. I think he's Oostburgian, but I will give him some slack.
Okay.
So we met with them this week, and so it's important to know that there are different proposals, and we as superintendents and districts are trying to predict, if one side gets elected, what's the landscape going to be? If the other side gets elected, what's the landscape going to be?
Right.
Because that, we make decisions on funding and on personnel and programs for kids based on what we believe might be happening. We have to be a little bit predictive about that. So a couple of the issues that we're talking about with them are the fiscal cliff, which I know I've mentioned before in board meetings, which is created by the fact that we've been held without any additional revenue this is the third year that we'll have a flat revenue limit in the state of Wisconsin. Now, I know a little bit of misinformation. There are ads out there that say the most money ever has been going into school districts. There is a little bit more money for special education, but that isn't for the general population of students. There was more money put into education, but because of the formula, that money doesn't come to the school districts. You see, if the amount of money goes up for schools and the revenue limit stays the same, that money cannot be taken by school districts and used for programming. That money has to go back to taxpayers. Really what was happening with the increased funding over the last couple of years is that it just went back into property tax relief, which everybody appreciates property tax relief. But just so people know, there really isn't any more money other than a little bit of a special education addition in the state of Wisconsin.
Right.
And so what that's created is, everybody knows we've got wages are going up, which is a good thing. More people are working. The economy is really cooking fast. There's some inflationary pressures. So everybody's costs have risen. And when everybody's costs have risen and we have not had an additional $1 of funding, these federal dollars are what we're using to balance the budget. Those are one-time dollars. Those don't continue. So what we're doing is our revenue is staying flat, expenses are going up, we're backfilling with federal dollars to be competitive so we can hire teachers and people that we need, and then at the end of 23, 24, that money goes away.
Right.
And so now, that's what we're calling the fiscal cliff. We're back to 2019-20 funding levels, but we're living in 2024. So we asked them about what their plans are moving forward in fixing and adding additional dollars. We advocated for that we should have additional dollars. We asked about Evers' proposed $2 billion addition this year and next year. We advocated for some level of that would be good. We also talked about vouchers because it shows up as a school district expense that the vouchers are public dollars, tax dollars, our dollars taken and used to fund people that go to private, secular or religious schools. And so that money that comes in goes right through our coffers and right to the goes right to the private schools. So it looks like we're getting extra money, but we're not. It's going right over to our local private schools. And so we talked about that and about being more transparent about that.
Yep.
Because there is a proposal on the one side that everybody gets a voucher. And then what happens with that? And how do you fund all of the kids that used to go to private school whose parents were paying for it, all of a sudden now get paid for by the state of Wisconsin? Well, that's going to be a huge bill.
It will be.
And who's going to pay for that? So there's
lot
all
of
of those
questions.
issues. A lot of those questions, yep.
Well, give me an update on the
Okay.
facilities. I know we have air conditioning as one of them. We have, we've lost air conditioning in this building, and it's been pretty warm.
That's correct. It's kind of warm in here
Yes.
as we're speaking. So yes, we have had a lot of great updates and improvements over the course of the year. Finke Field, for example,
Oh, yes.
has it's fully operational, and in fact, the soccer team will be playing the first game on turf under the lights in Plymouth
Yeah?
on Tuesday, and so that is fantastic. But things break over time. The chiller unit at the Plymouth High School was from 2006, and our maintenance crew does a really great job, and they were fixing it and working on it
Yep.
and trying to keep it alive. Well, it didn't make it. So now what we're dealing with is trying to get that repaired. It turns out we have about a 9-month lead time for a new unit. So we're hoping for cool weather now, and we're moving forward. But these are the kind of the things that about long-term maintenance. Sometimes they sneak up on you faster, but every year we try to do a good job fiscally to have a little money set aside to do a couple major things in summer. This one's pretty expensive.
Yes, it is.
It could be upwards of $500,000, and so it might be the one thing that we're able to accomplish next summer. But we hope to be able to, fight through all those logistic issues and
Sure.
supply chain issues
Yeah.
and get a unit shipped in here so
Yeah.
we can get it installed. But
Before we close out, let's talk about a really neat thing with an owl.
yeah,
We had something great happen this last week.
it was a great owl.
Yes.
We had a great horned owl over at Riverview that there's a soccer field back there. They practice for soccer. Had flown into the soccer nets. Must have been in the morning
And got tangled up.
tangled up. And I guess it happens on a somewhat regular basis for owls. And so our science teacher at the middle school, Abby Ward, was calm, cool, and collected, and she put on her chemistry gloves because they're thick and tough, and great horned owls have
Yes.
a talon grip that's 10 times stronger than the grip of a human
Yeah.
with sharp talons. And so she was able to get out there, and they were filming it, and the kids were all out there,
Yeah.
and took her a while, and she clipped it free. You can see a video clip of it on YouTube, by the way, channel 58. And ultimately, she freed it, and it flaps away and flies up and lands in a tree, I'm sure exhausted from fear and everything else. But she did it, and now it's a local news story, but it's also a national news story, I've been told. So
Made national news.
made national news for saving an owl. One of the funny parts of it was she was being interviewed by the reporter from Channel 58, and there she is in her room her science room in Riverview, telling the reporter, all about the story, and right behind her, a giant stuffed owl.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if that was for effect or if that was just by chance, but yeah, it was a
But
great
that's
story.
great.
Yeah.
That's great. And we should tell everybody the football season's half over.
Yeah.
Isn't that hard to believe that we're just moving forward so quickly with all the sporting events? There's a great cross-country meet happening as we're talking here. And it's been a great fall, actually.
It really has. We've had decent weather, and our kids are doing really well. And
Yep.
They're having great experiences, middle school all the way through the high school. So it's a lot of participation, a lot of coaches from our faculty, some coaches from town. It's wonderful.
It's good. It's good. Things are happening.
Yep.
All the right things are happening.
Exactly.
Yes. Well, I want to thank you for being on.
Thank you for having me.
I should tell everybody that the school board meetings are the third Tuesday of every month right here in the Plymouth Amphitheater, starting at 5:30, third Tuesday of the month, 5:30 here in the amphitheater. Next month, October, it will start at 5:30, but it will be the annual meeting.
Correct.
So followed by the school board meeting, a little bit longer. So be part of it. Come up to the annual meeting on the October 18th, yes.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, thank you again for being on.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for being here also. Until I see you next time, I'll be seeing you on the radio. Bye-bye.